Yeah, Paul. I just wanted to give you a little bit more information about this spacer and the depth that the plate is actually going to go down inside the brake drum without actually having the edges of the shoes touching that face there. I've made you a spacer, but that it just suits my particular hub. These hubs, like you can adjust the way the bearings are sitting in there. And it depends on that spacer that's actually between the two bearings. The length of that spacer would determine where the actual brake plate sits in relation to the actual hub. My way of thinking, the deeper you can get it sitting in there and the more brake material you can get working on the drum, the better off you're going to be. So if it's not the same as mine, then it'll either when this arrives, you'll stick it into your hub, and it'll either touch the bottom, or it won't touch the bottom. In which case you have to find out how far away from the bottom it is, because the shoes are exactly the same width as the actual braking surface there, which is not the case with the Gold Star brakes. That they're about 2 millimeters narrower, so that it doesn't really matter where you sit them; they'll always be inside the brake. Now, if these are sitting outside the brake a little bit, then the pad material, as it wears, it'll get a lip on it, and it's not quite as good as what it can get, because you'll be losing that little bit of area, that little bit of braking area. So you'd have to pay a little bit of attention to how this actually sits in your hub. Just to get this to sit as far down as possible, so the whole shoe sits in there. Like the ones I've made you are the same actual width, and when these sit in there, that's it. Like there's nothing sticking out the top, and it's sitting there by itself, and it's absolutely flush there, so that the tolerance is quite tight on this, because I've set it up for myself, and even though it rotates freely, it wouldn't take a hell of a lot for it to start rubbing anywhere. So if this bearing spacer here was like 0.5 mil short, or even 0.25 of a millimetre shorter than what it is now, that'd put the bearing 0.25 millimetres further down, and also put the whole hub another 2.5 millimetres down inside there, and that brake shoe will then rub on the inside there. And that's not really what you want, because the wheel won't be free spinning at all, and it'll cause unnecessary heat, and it'll be a prick of a thing to push around the pits. So I'm just trying to explain to you that there may be things that you need to pay attention to, and this would be one of them. Like I've made you a spacer that's got a 25 millimetre hole in it. It's a 1.5 millimetre washer basically, and it'll go onto your spindle, which you're saying is 25 millimetres, whereas mine's 22. I'll find that. I'll continue the video when I stick it in my bike, and I'll show you how it's actually working in mine.